Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Schwaller. I am a integrated studies student who combined organizational management with philosophy. And my problem statement is, what kind of effect does nature or having natural experiences have on a child's learning capabilities? I chose this topic because I'm interested in running a program for children in nature someday, hopefully soon. And I figure I can mix organizational management with philosophy and also childhood development into this program. So that was my problem statement, and I hope you like what I've organized here for you. It's not just a talking head coming through in a video camera, so enjoy. So here we are down in Arizona where I live. This is my backyard. We're going to be walking down to the creek, which is about 2 blocks from my house. And we're down here with my 2 kids. Well, Mira is a 7-year-old, my youngest daughter. She's just ahead of me here. We'll see her in a second. Right there she is. This is Mira jumping down. And then Jasmine we'll see in a minute or two. She's 10 years old. She's already down there, so we'll meet her down there. I had to go back to the house and get some new shoes. So, here we go. One of the main things I have to look at in my study is, well, I'm looking at 2 things. Natural experiences, different types of natural experiences, and different types of learning, basically. And through the reading, I've come to find that there are 3 different types of learning or developmental learning that children go through as they grow. One is called cognitive development, which has a lot to do with perception, memory, judgment, and reasoning. And then affective development, which has more to do with emotions and feeling. And the third is called evaluative development, which has to do with creating values in your life and what kind of values do we apply to the outer world. So all of these are basically how the child comes into themselves as individuals as they learn. And I'm wondering how nature and interacting with nature, natural experiences, will sort of nurture these different developments as we grow. Now they're all broken down into subcategories that we look at. I'm going to try and breeze through them here and see if I can fit it into around 10 minutes. So, under cognitive development, we're looking at knowledge. One of the subcategories is knowledge. Understanding terms and facts and bringing this understanding back into the world and applying and integrating the information into daily life. Another subcategory is comprehension. How are we comprehending or interpreting the information that we're gathering through our experiences of our senses, of our negotiating new territory. We're looking at I just love that picture. Different circumstances that we can learn from, more or less. How do we interpret these things? Application, applying knowledge of general concepts to different situations and circumstances. Analysis, how are we breaking down the knowledge we're gaining into elements or categories and discerning the underlying structures? When we go through and experience something, what is underlying all that? What's the earth made of, and what's the water made of? And there's different qualities there. It's very interesting. And what kind of patterns are we seeing in nature through this? This kind of information is what I'm talking about. And then on the other side of that, synthesizing, integrating parts together and elements into new structural wholes, having a basic understanding of relationship and interdependency in nature. We're looking at life in nature, and how does life relate? The birds are flying through the air, the plants are growing on the earth. They need water, and some need less water. And how is nature all organized together? And then the last, under cognitive development, is evaluation. Making simple judgments about the significance of various elements based upon your examinations of nature itself. Affective development, as I mentioned earlier, it has a lot to do with emotions and feeling. In nature, one thing, as we're receiving information, we have to be very attentive, and we really do have to give a lot of attention. You see here, Mira is very focused on every step she takes. She's being extremely attentive to how she should move her feet, how she should move her hands, what her next step will be, how to get to point A to point B over boulders that are as big as she is, and then all the different textures she's experiencing, and which route to take and whatnot. You really do have to be attentive in nature, because you could hurt yourself, and that would be terrible. But I do think it gives you a good practice of focus that we find is quite spontaneous. I think, it is possible that ADD or ADHD may not be able to exist in such an environment if a child is in nature a lot, because one has to really pay attention there, and your mind clicks into a natural focus where it practices that experience of focus. Another one is responding and reacting with satisfaction upon new information. Feeling delighted by playing in the creek and learning about how water flows. Valuing, attributing worth or importance to information that one was seeking. Sometimes we do experiments in nature and feeling the joy of that. Again, these are all, the question here is, we all experience this. The question is, how deeply are we experiencing this? And does nature bring a deeper experience into one's life? Organizing again, internalizing and organizing worthy material into patterns and beliefs is a subcategory of effective development. And characterization by value, which basically brings us into the next set of developments, but it is holding to sets of beliefs and values that constitute a philosophy towards life. How deep is that in you? Which brings us into evaluative development, the third category of study of learning. There's a whole bunch of these. I don't think I have time to go through them, but things, aesthetic value, which has to do with attraction and appeal of nature, dominionistic value, which has a lot to do with controlling nature. Where are you at with trying to control nature? Humanistic value, which has to do with emotional bonding in nature. Moralistic value, which is more of an ethical and spiritual affinity for nature, wondering why it's all here like that. Naturalistic value, expressing a desire for close contact or immersion in nature. Negativistic value considers the fear of nature or fear of the unknown sometimes. Scientific value, which is like studying nature. Symbolic value, which represents nature as a source of language and imagination. And utilitarian value, which is like considering stones and wood and materialistic kind of experience of nature. And I do want to mention there's 3 types of natural experiences: direct, indirect, and vicarious experiences. Right now, Jasmine is experiencing a vicarious experience, reading about nature, where you actually don't physically touch it. Indirect experiences involve physical contact, but with more restrictive kind of experience, like having pets or going to the zoo. And direct experience is actually getting out in nature and playing. So that's how I would go about studying this experience of nature. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your evening.